Now I'm going to explain to you how to run the ultimatum game. Let's first start the application in client mode. So I use the main application, the starting point of the application, which is the run class, started in server mode. And now you see that there is a window which is popped up, which is representing the server screen. Alright, so here you see various options. The screencastify is hiding some of the options, so I'm going to resize it a little bit. Yeah, so now you see that there are three menu options at the bottom, which is creating a new experiment and open an existing one and so on. So I'm going to create a new experiment which is called ultimatum game. Save it and then open it further for editing. So here what you see is the experiment flow manager. So on the server, what you're interested to configure is how your experiment is going to be executed and what are the various building blocks of your experiment. And then on the code, what you're going to describe is what is the concept, how is the screen going to look like, and what is the business logic behind the screen, and how do the clients and the server pass messages to each other and such logic. So this will be defined in the code itself, and on the UI what you define is the structural flow. So ideally when you program an experiment, you do both these things together because you need a screen and then you also need some sort of a flow to test each experiment. And then later during the session you can configure much detailed flows. So for example, I add a session. A session describes one run of my experiment in which I invite, let's say, n number of participants. In this case, I want to plan my experiment for today, and the time I just leave it as 15 hours. And then the number of cohorts is 1, and I want 2 subjects per cohort because the ultimatum game is played between 2 people with a responder and a requester, and hence I configure the number of subjects to be 2. Once I do this, I then add a treatment block to it. I say what is the kind of treatments that a person can play. So here, for instance, I can create a new treatment with the name ultimatum game. And in this case, I have only one kind of ultimatum game, so I'm going to define only one treatment. So the next two steps are the most important connecting blocks. So I mentioned earlier that you will have in your code the screen. You will have programmed the screen which will be shown to the user, right? So this is the place where you configure the key which is specific to your experiment. So I'm going to navigate to the ultimatum game client project. This ultimatum game server project, and here you see the institution class. So I'm going to explain these to you briefly, but for now let's copy the fully qualified name of this class and then paste it here. And then for the environment, it's basically the same path and let's call it environment. So this basically completes my configuration. With this, I kind of provide the link between the treatment and the institution and the environment behind my experiment. All right. Now, let's go back to the treatment management dialog. Here you see one treatment added. Then I want to add this to my experiment. So I just say add to treatment block and then close this. And here you see that in the treatments, whatever we configured has been added. Right. Next, you also see some more features, and I'll come to these in a little while. You can add a treatment block by saying to a treatment block you can add a number of periods. So you can say how many iterations you want each treatment to be run. I'm going to give a sample of 2 periods, and what you see here is a way of matching it. So let's say you have 2 treatments and 4 periods. Then you want to configure how you want the 2 treatments to be spread out across the 4 periods. So it can be either completely randomized or it can be matched as a fully factorial way such that each one is repeated twice and so on. So right now we have 2 options. So that if there are more treatments and if there are more periods, then these options can be configured. And then you also have the option of biofeedback. So biofeedback is used in our platform along with sensor measurements. So whenever there are experiments which require biofeedback, then we basically configure these options. And there is a separate tutorial how to run a biofeedback experiment available. So now based on this, what we do is basically kind of check if everything is all right with the session. It looks so. And then we can basically run the session, right? So now you come to the run session screen. Here you see that I have come back to the Eclipse window and I now want to start everything, start the same application, but now I want to start it in client mode. So let's say my first client, the name of the first client is Anuja Aha, that's my computer name. And then the second one, I will start another client, but then I just want to make it unique. So I just add something in the beginning. So after this, you see on the session screen that 2 clients have been connected. And now you can click on continue, where you see that there are 2 screens. One is the requester screen and one is the responder screen. So the program is such that the responder screen is initially waiting because we wait for the requester to initiate an agreement. So what does he see? He sees this message. You own 10 euros and you have to share it with another agent. And how much do you offer to the other agent? So let's say I want to offer 7 euros to the other guy. And then now I'm on the waiting screen. Now the responder gets the queue. He decides what to do with it. Let's say the responder is a nice guy and he also accepts this offer. So everything is good. This guy gets only 3 euros and the other guy gets 7 euros and so on. So now since I specify 2 periods, you see that the roles are reversed in the next period. And here you see that this guy says, okay, I didn't get a very good deal last time, so I'm going to offer very less to this one. And then it goes on, and then the responder says he offers you only 3 euros, and then it's good. I still want to accept this offer for what it is, and then the button for accept is not appearing because of the screencast. Exactly. So now I can accept this offer, and then you see the result screen for both the clients, and then you see that they both wait, and then you see the end of the experimental session.